I've just said all of that, and nobody could hear a word I said. Hello.
That's way to be.
Oh no way.
That's hilarious.
That's a good false start for us.
Hi Marion. Hi Danny.
Good evening, folks. I do feel better, but Penny's now full of some sort of chest infection.
Yeah.
Good evening, Danny. Yep. Leah and Marion swooping in there with no sound. Thank you for not putting your Wally or your Plonker or your moron at the end of that. I can hear you now. Thank you. Yeah, right. Just to quickly kind of recap what I said while the mic was muted. The feed seems to be a bit jittery, so I think it's all right. It just looks a bit jittery at this end. We've got the comments up. If you haven't had a chance to read the comments, the content we're going to look for tonight is...
I've forgotten.
What's it like to be a medium? What's it like to be spiritual? What's it like to sort of say you're a tarot reader or a shaman or shaman?
Or a psychic.
Or a psychic. Do you believe in psychics? Do you believe you have some psychic abilities? And also to expand on that a little bit, is the world and the people within it, are we becoming more spiritual as a human race? So that's what we're going to debate later.
Okay.
Because I think we have. I think there's a lot more spiritual people now than there was 100 years ago.
I don't. I think there's actually less now. I think there's probably more fraudulent people out there.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
But I also think that there's more opportunity and there are more, for want of a better way of putting it, more mediums for it to go through, like the internet and the many different social websites, not to name them all. But yeah, I don't think there's more now than there was before.
Right, well, we'll come back to that in a bit.
I think there's more entertainers.
Jess and Barry, they were actually talking about it today, whether humans are evolving to become more spiritual. Great minds think alike, eh? No, fools seldom differ.
Oh.
That's what that means.
You're a bit with it this evening, and I'm really not. So I apologise if there is any delay from me.
It's a satellite delay.
I spent most of yesterday asleep. I would have liked to have spent most of today asleep. And if I suddenly go off for a really loud cough or to blow my nose, I apologise.
So that's the topics for this evening. So let us know what you think in the comments. It's there so we can debate and, see what everybody sort of thinks.
With that in mind, when I did my Reiki training in 2008, 2009, a friend of mine who was a crystal healer said, isn't it interesting that you've chosen to do that now with the everybody going on about the Mayan calendar? And when was that? 2012 that happened.
Yeah.
But or something like that. And she said, it's interesting how many people are drawn to light work when the world's in crisis. And what made you make that leap into Reiki? And I said, well, I've no idea why. I don't know what made me look up Reiki, do research on it, what made me find my Reiki master that I went to. I don't know what led me to it. I'd always been a healer, but not formally. There was no formal process to it, but I'd been healing for years.
But
the world was in crisis.
COVID will be the same. People during COVID, we're jumping ahead. I want to kind of recap a little bit. We'll come back to that topic. Let us know what you think. Were you spurred on to be more spiritual because of COVID? Did it get you in touch because you ended up doing more gardening? Did you end up feeling more spiritual that way during sort of lockdowns and things?
I did loads of gardening
during
lockdown.
I built a pond.
You did. You built a pond.
And all the fish are still alive.
We grew a ridiculous amount of vegetable-y things.
Yeah.
And herbs.
Yeah, it was loads of stuff.
And a quite scary patch of pumpkins that was threatening to take over the garden.
Yeah, I forgot where I was going to go now.
What we did during lockdown.
No. I was going to say, it's right. So we're going to come back. So that is the topic of this evening. But I wanted to give you a bit of an update because we weren't here for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
First week was pure stress. I'm not going to lie, utter stress. We all live with mental health, and some days are worse than others. And that weekend was a bad mental health weekend. Yeah, last weekend I was ill. I've been ill on and off for a couple of weeks. Getting used to, I think, the germs of working in a school.
And stress.
The stress and I was going to say something else. My asthma playing up. So it's kind of had a bout of man flu and it was pain shaking it off.
And I've obviously been in a school all week doing my new job.
Kids are filthy. Kids
are filthy. I've been carrying my own hand sanitizer, and every child that goes past, I'm giving me your hands. There was lots of runny noses, I have to say. So I think they might have given me germs. Yeah,
probably. Yeah, absolutely. I guarantee it. Kids, anybody that's worked in a school, as soon as you go in, you get a cold or a flu or something, chest infection. What else has happened? I've kind of come out of retirement as far as being a dog behaviourist. A little while ago, a friend of mine who owns a kennels in Peterborough. So if you ever want to kennel a dog in Peterborough, let me know and I'll put you in touch with him. He recommended me, not knowing, because we hadn't spoken for a few years, that I'd retired. So this unsuspecting person contacted me and was in tears. So I couldn't not help. So we did. We did the initial visit, and then a follow-up visit, and then today I had to help them kind of put the dog up rehoming. So it's gone into a rescue centre nearby for us to do some work with because it has got some behavioural issues. But I'm kind of talking to Marion here. You know, if I put this into perspective, if I wasn't in a rental property where I can't have any more than one dog, because they let me off with Faze because he was old and knew he wouldn't be around for long, and I was in agility, I would have taken him. I wouldn't have put him to the rescue centre. He's another Faze, he's another Ned. So if you know of somebody who can kind of handle a bit of a spirited, with dominance kind of dog, it's a retriever-y, collie cross, then let me know. Get in contact because we can't do anything for the next month because he's got to have some training. But it'd be nice to get him into an active home. So Carla, who I've been liaising with at the rescue centre, sort of pointed out that it cheered me up doing it. And it did. It felt nice to help somebody, genuinely help somebody. They were devastated that the dog wouldn't change for them.
I've been trying for months, though, and it wasn't turning around.
No.
It's a proper ingrained behaviours situation.
So there's a number of kind of issues. But yeah, there's a stack of potential, so much potential.
So you're back out of retirement
for
that.
But I'm not advertising. That's my only stipulation. I'm not jumping on Facebook and hitting the bandwagon as far as advertising is concerned. The recommendations will come through.
Yeah.
Any dog handler I'm supposed to work with will come to me.
Don't get a dog, Jess.
And that's
jeez. They're hard.
The dog. Barry says no. He's mean. Barry's mean.
Good boy, Barry. Dogs are a pain in the bum.
Good boy, Barry. Click treat. There we go.
Ned's a pain in the bum. Somebody knocked the door the other day and I must have shouted at the dog on my way to the door. And as I opened it, they went, bloody dog, which was what I'd shouted.
Other than that, my job's going really well. Penny had a bit of a stressy week at work.
Oh, my
Baptism
Lord.
of fire at your school.
Some part of my brain said, there would be less pressure working with little people. How hard can it be cutting and sticking all week and playing with glitter? Seriously. What I didn't realise was that they realised what my background was, and they put me with some year one, so 5-6-year-olds who had some serious behaviours that the school had absolutely ignored for the year and a half that they've been at school. And I don't think my step counter gave up and went, "What are you doing?" I've got bad back. I'm absolutely knackered, and I swear I've had to do nan voice at work.
I do dad voice at work all the time.
That at all. But I have done fun stuff. I made a kite and showed them how to make pom-poms and
Excellent.
did cute stuff. So, but I start a new job tomorrow.
Yeah, different placement tomorrow then. I've got to change.
Different placement. Instead of the 2-to-1, me and two fun, boisterous children.
Yeah.
It's 1-to-1 and then a class. So but I get my own room with the 1-to-1.
Excellent. So, shall we talk about tonight's topic?
Let's do it then.
Let's do it. What's it like to be a medium then, Penny, or a sidekick?
I don't know, because I don't describe myself as either of those things.
You're not my sidekick.
I think you'll find you're my sidekick.
Who's the sidekick? You tell us. So what's it like being when you?
I'm a sensitive. When I describe myself, I say that I'm a sensitive and that I'm an empath, because both of those things I'm very comfortable with. When I get more, and I do get more, quite a lot, but I don't rely on it. It's not something that I expect to be there, because if anybody goes to a medium, it kind of, I find it really difficult. If you go to a medium and it's like, tell me what I want to know, I can't do that. I can only tell you what's being told to me if somebody wants to come through. So I'm not comfortable saying that.
Okay.
I'm more comfortable saying that I'm a sensitive, because as an empath, I obviously am clairsentient. So the first thing I pick up on is the emotions, the feelings that are there within the room, and I can tune them into an energy rather than the people in the room.
So
and then it moves on from there.
Let's describe a scenario. Let's say you're at a dinner party, which I know probably would never happen. You're not that kind of bird. You're at a dinner party.
I'm not a what?
Right? You're at a dinner party and you're standing next to somebody else and you're about to introduce yourself.
Yeah.
But you think the person might be a little bit skeptical.
Yeah. Do
you change the way you describe yourself in the introduction?
No.
Do you downplay it at all because of the belief structure of somebody else?
No.
Okay, I wanted to get that point out.
If they don't want to believe, they don't have to believe. I'm not going to force it. I'm just going to say, this is who I am. If you don't want to know about it, that's absolutely fine. We'll talk about something else. But no, I'm very comfortable in conversing about my spiritualism with other people.
The reason I mention, I know, the reason I want to mention it is because,
sorry, I can feel it.
Whenever you mention mediumship, spirituality, being whether you can read energy out of buildings like I can, and whether you're doing the shamanistic work that I do, what makes that any less credible and any more questionable than a religion? People always, as soon as you say, there's the credibility goes. But if you introduce yourself, I'm a Catholic or I'm a Jehovah's Witness or anything else that fits a religious criteria, the respect is already there because they can't question somebody's faith. But it's okay for somebody to go, I don't believe in that shit.
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
I get what you mean, because my first thought was, we're asking people to believe in something they don't have a connection with themselves.
Yeah.
There is no tangible evidence of it. I can't say there is a spirit here and they can turn around and see that spirit. But then I thought about it as she was talking, and I thought, who's seeing God?
Well, this was my next point, is if in 2007, when I was part of Barrow Baptist Church, and gave myself and was baptized, had I have made a genuine connection where I felt there was substance,
Yeah.
I'd still be there.
Yeah.
Whereas I've found the substance in my spirit guides, my animals, my spirit animals, the spirits that I've communicated with.
Whoever she is.
So, but this is my point was, it's okay for people to say that in response to that. Oh, I don't believe in that. Oh, you believe in all that shit. But you wouldn't say that to the minister sort of says to you, oh yeah, I'm the minister of such as, oh, I don't believe in that God bullshit. That's just fucking rude.
It is rude, but you've got to remember as well, you was aware of my spiritualism before you came here for Reiki.
Yeah.
And what did you say about me?
I'm not saying it.
Say it. You said something along the lines of, you are mad, aren't you? Or
oh, no, you are a proper Fruit Loopy.
Yeah.
Hippie or something.
Which is nice. Just because you looked out the window into the garden and I had...
a teepee standing up.
No, I had my meditation...
teepee.
Yeah. And prayer flags. And,
yeah.
and things. And it was like, yeah, I never said that this wasn't what I believed in. But your first response was to say that I was bonkers.
Yep.
But I was comfortable in that. That's fine. You can think that if you want to think that.
Yeah, it's not offensive if it's coming from somebody who is bonkers.
Yeah, but I didn't realise that you were bonkers, so that's took some time to learn.
I hide it quite well.
Not so much now.
Yeah,
but
so agreed.
If people, and we had that conversation on one of our many adventures around crystal shops, and you said about you see people dressed a particular way when they go in these shops, and they're very comfortable with who they are, and you can't engage with that. But you hadn't noticed that you don't have to dress like that. You can dress in a shirt and tie and still have those beliefs. It's about what you're comfortable in.
Yeah.
With those beliefs.
Oh, absolutely.
Rather than the costume.
Of course it is. I mean, even being one-to-one mentoring a teenager at school, there still has to be an element of empathy, a lot of empathy in there.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of the time they're just being defiant because that's what they're used to doing. When they're suddenly hit with, okay, give me a reason, let's make a change. They don't quite know how to, because I'm not buffeting against them. I'm trying to coerce them, softly, catchy monkey, as some people say.
Okay.
They then don't realise that I'm actually working in an empathetic way. They are, once I've got them talking and listening to me, they're in my bubble.
Okay.
And then I can transfer as much positive energy as I physically can.
I want to put something out there. So for those of you that are watching, put in the comments your thoughts, because a flip side of these people are very comfortable in their spirituality and they wear very ethnic, loud clothing and beads and baubles, and I do, but I wear those things because I like them and they're comfortable for me, and because I'm lazy, and I don't want to put much more effort in than that will do. But and it's funny because I thought actually this week I dressed like a primary school teacher.
Well, yeah, you had a rainbow jumper on.
I did have a rainbow jumper on, and I had a polka dot shirt on Friday. Was it Friday? Yeah. And I wear what is comfortable for me. Do you need a costume? Does it make somebody more credible in their belief system if they are dressed a particular way? For example, if you see a priest and he's dressed in his cassock with his dog collar and all of those things, does that make him more of a priest than if he was just in a jumper and jeans? Would you feel more comfortable having a spiritual conversation with him, a religious conversation with him? Do you know what I mean? So do you need to have that costume? If you went to somebody for a reading, if they were dressed like Mystic Meg, with the big hoops and the crystal ball and the big gowns and things,
I'd
Do
like
you
to,
have greater belief in them?
um,
Or do you think they're
think-
more of an entertainer and a fraud?
I think my ultimate ideal reading would be one from Solitaire in James Bond, where she sits down in the big
Shut
chair,
up, you just
pulls a
love Jane.
massive cloak
You
sort of
just
thing
love Jane
on the
Seymour.
table.
And that's that. It's got nothing at all.
I was just thinking that dramatizes the whole thing. I don't know, I suppose. What do you thought about this, though, when we go and do the tarot reading parties?
Yeah.
I kind of always feel like I need to dress in a particular way that shows I'm a spiritual man. And there's a very fine line between being a very spiritual man to being gay in appearance. So I find that very difficult. And I find most spiritual men that I've encountered are. And I don't know what the correlation is to that, whether they're just open to their
Comfortable
spirituality.
with their sensitivity.
No, you know what? I do know the answer to that. To be empathetic means you've got to be a man with some emotion. And you've got to be able to see
Be
and feel
comfortable in that emotion.
in emotions. And I am a man that's comfortable with emotions. As a for instance, if you haven't watched it, please watch a series on Netflix called Afterlife. If you can make it through series 1 without crying, I don't want to know you. It's an amazing series. It's so inspirational.
The first series when it came out. I haven't watched it at all, but good Lord. Yeah, and it's not about, if you haven't seen it, it's not about spiritualism and anything.
It's about appreciation for life and, the emotions that are in it. So to be spiritual and be comfortable with that as a man, you've got to be in touch with the emotions, good and bad. And I get angry and I get grumpy.
Why do we need to be in touch with our emotions? Because we're dealing with people that are essentially broken, reaching out to loved ones that have passed. And you don't want to go in all bullish. There needs to be a level of sensitivity there. They could become highly emotional with it. So you tailor how you are talking to people. Good Lord, the number of readings that we've done where people have cried during the reading, it's quite shocking.
Oh, there was tears today. I was dealing with the dog. So Marion's put no costume necessary as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And Afterlife is brilliant. Yes, it is, Chris.
Isn't it? It's shockingly good.
I was going to say something then.
Costumes, sensitivity.
That's what I was going to say. Everybody kind of does wear a costume, though, don't they? Because you can fit people into categories by what they dress like. So you've got your classic goths, your emos, you bloody gym bunnies that always have to wear everything like, so it's really tight. If you want that much visible, just don't wear anything. Just do that. But there is always going to be people that advertise who and what they are by what they wear, by brand.
Because they feel that they need to.
Yeah, because that defines who they are.
It's just a comfortable choice.
They related mostly to the advert of that advertiser. So that's the clothing that they go for, or the gym that they were in, or the workshop that they were in. So do they buy Caterpillar boots?
Here's a really interesting thing, and I don't know if it's relevant. I hadn't thought of it before. I tend to like looser fitting clothes definitely when I'm doing
just
Reiki.
Somebody off.
Sorry, was somebody trying to
I don't
sell?
know what. I just blocked somebody. Yay, we got a spammer.
Excellent. Definitely when I'm doing Reiki. Sometimes when I'm doing readings, I get really hot. I overheat. It's like I get filled up with energy and it's too much and I get really hot. So I tend to wear the looser clothing than a t-shirt and jeans because I'll just glisten. Women glisten. That's what we do. And I think
jeans and comfy clothes.
Yeah, and I think it's just whatever you're comfortable in. If you chose to wear Like I wear quite loud trousers quite a lot, not for any other reason than I just like them. They're comfortable, and I think they add a bit of life to my usual boringness. As long as I'm comfortable, I don't think people would change their thoughts.
I would change the way I dress to go to school. Totally.
To go to school?
Yeah, to do my job, I wouldn't dress. That's
right,
because
okay.
they've told me to dress like that.
Okay.
Shirt, tie.
Right, okay. You do.
Jacket.
You look like a proper teacher.
I do. And it looks too formidable when you're dealing with kids that have got fragile relationships with teachers and superiors because they don't respect them. There's no commonality, and kids need commonality nowadays.
But
so
they also need
I wouldn't
to
dress.
understand authority and position.
Yeah, I'd still wear a shirt and tie, but it'd be a short sleeve. Tattoos are an excellent icebreaker.
They are in big school.
Yeah, they start conversations.
This is interesting. In every other job
I think we've gone off on a tangent, but stick with us.
In every other job I've done, people ask what my tattoo is. They obviously can't see the massive one on my back, but they ask.
Massive.
It's not. It's bigger than that.
What's about that?
It's not. It's bigger than that.
What, your triquetra?
Yeah.
It's just there.
Okay, you did. You started on a very small circle there, and then went quite large. Okay. Anyway, people don't tend to see my back, but they see my arm. And people, and every job I've ever done, people have asked about it, and I've managed to cut myself somehow. God's sake. In the school, nobody mentioned it. None of the teachers mentioned it. One child who was non-verbal actually came up to me. If you give me your arm, I'd been with him for most of the day. He came up to me and went like this, and that was it. He just so I knew that he'd seen it.
Didn't wipe off.
And then he wandered off. Yeah, I think he was checking to see if I'd done it with a Sharpie. More than anything. So yeah,
the way you dress, I think, does make a difference in certain. Because
but does it make you believable, or does it make you an entertainer? Do you think some people go, "Oh, it's an entertainer"?
I don't know. I think the rules are different for you than they are for me.
Okay.
They're definitely different than they are for men than they are for women. And I say that because my smart dress, shirt, tie, looks like office wear. What's the boundaries on what's office wear for women? Providing it came off of a coat hanger. Because there's every blouse is available, but that's a bit of a tangent.
But does it make you believable is the question.
Yeah.
Do you
that's
look
what I was going
for
to say.
That in somebody?
If a policeman turns up and they're in uniform, the air of authority is there, that they're professional within their uniform.
Okay, so is there a uniform for mediums and psychics?
Yeah, and I think part of my uniform needs to be some form of headdress with a skull on the front of it on my forehead. I genuinely haven't found how I want to look yet.
Okay.
I've got to figure some stuff out. I can't have a mohawk for school. They told me that.
So how does I've forgotten the question we originally asked. So what does being a medium mean to you?
Shocking people.
What you enjoy?
Yeah, I enjoy the look of what? Really?
But it's knowing that the information you're giving you couldn't have got from anywhere else.
No. And I always credit myself for not lying to people. Never lie in a situation. So when somebody it depends on how it comes up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I tend to go with the words that people understand as opposed to the words that I would understand.
Okay.
So I would use tarot reading medium psychic or tarot reader.
Yeah.
Because it fits what their criteria is. If I go tarot reading shaman, they're not going to have the same idea of what that is.
No.
But 100 years from now, everybody will.
Okay.
And this is where I think, because like you said, during pandemics, people have become more spiritual. There is definitely definitely more people doing yoga now than there was in 1942 or 1922 or 1832. I guarantee it. Even in
yoga, yes, because it hadn't come over then. It comes from India.
So now that spirituality spread from one place slowly, because
but it's always been in India. It's about coming over to the West.
Exactly, but that took time for it to do that. Whereas now it can be done in 2 days because a new fad hits Facebook and everybody's doing it.
Yeah, okay.
I
get that.
Everybody's got an exercise bike, but oh no, now I need one with a TV on and somebody to fucking motivate me from Benetton. What? Do you get what I mean? Things move so quickly when they decide it's to be pushed. So yoga and healthy eating and being a vegan.
Influencers are about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So now you kind of influencing people is easier. So advertising to teach people tarot is going to be easier because it's not just a postcard in your shop window that's only going to get your footfall or yellow pages. It's now the world. Everybody can see it.
It's interesting because a year ago I put an ad on neighbourhood. On every area has its own neighbourhood thing, and I put an ad on about tarot reading, and one person wrote a negative comment. Lots of people jumped in to say, what has it got to do with you? If you don't believe it, don't say anything. Nothing nice to say. Move on.
Fair enough.
Just putting out there that you're a non-believer. I don't care if you're a believer or not. I don't know who you are. It makes no difference to me. And if anybody's interested, they're not going to care what that one man's opinion is. And this is because we live in the world of reviews.
Yeah.
How many stars do you give it? And it only takes one person to put bad review that people question it.
I don't think people read reviews now on stuff because they're just not true, because you know that any establishment that's got a bit of time and money can write their own reviews. They just get a team of 10 people to create 10 email addresses and do 10 reviews each, and you space them out over time. Okay. That's being done all the time on Amazon.
All right. Okay.
Fake reviews and stuff. So I don't think people put quite so much credence. And TripAdvisor has gone mad. It used to just be, well, our holiday was nice, but Betty only had one chocolate and I had two. Now they just go out. The waiter looked at me funny because
I've stayed at some hotels that were horrendous, absolutely horrendous.
You don't tell anybody. You let the next holiday makers figure it out for themselves.
No, the reviews were really bad. And one of them in Turkey, it was like driving to, for want of a better way of putting it, an estate, a housing estate.
Sorry, tangent.
That was really rubbish, and it was gorgeous inside, and the staff were really lovely and really helpful, and I loved it. And it takes one person to write a review or a negative comment. I don't believe in this. That's fine. You don't have to.
No.
The advert wasn't for you. It wasn't to convince you to change your mind. It was for like-minded people to respond to. And actually it did. And I had some very bizarre responses, people that did different things.
Well, you can be a bit more, I'm just thinking slightly more vague. If people get onto the topic of religion and things, what's your belief? And you go, well, Norse pagan.
Yeah.
That's nowadays not too bad. People wouldn't really question that because there's been quite a lot of movement towards Norse and paganism.
Yeah.
So again,
people still frown at the Wiccan.
Yeah, that's the darker side of it.
You're a witch. That's not an insult. That's a descriptive word. Okay. Yes,
which is which? I never could figure out which witch is which. Although I do like this witch a lot.
That's lucky. Oh, that's lucky. Anywho,
so we've got a comment from Barry.
Okay.
When you guys came out to us, you picked up on my dad, and there was lots of things you came out with. Only family would know. I did. I had a really good conversation with your dad. There was a lot of stuff.
There was quite sweary energy.
Yeah, I'm not 100% certain that was him, but that was my emphasis on him, perhaps. I don't know, unless your dad was quite sweary.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a really powerful night. That was a good spiritual kick up the arse for me. That was. Yeah, we're going round yours for dinner actually soon, aren't we?
Yay, Saturday.
I'll see if he's there. Is it this Saturday?
Yes.
Hey.
Every Saturday you've said, but we don't know.
I want to go around with my mates to play.
It's on the calendar and everything.
Oh, cool.
So, still talking about mediums, I can't remember if it was also called Afterlife. There was a series years ago that had, I think it's Leslie Sharp, and the man that played Egg in, I think it's This Life, and he was a lecturer and wanted to disprove mediums, and she was a psychic medium, and everybody thinks, oh, it's really lovely and it's flowery and great, and you just tell people stuff and it works. But for her, it was massively traumatizing, and she.
That's the scene you made me watch.
I did make
lived
you
in
watch
the
it.
End Terrace house.
That was it, and
Can't remember what it's called though.
it really opened your eyes to not everybody is comfortable in that role. Not everybody wants to be a medium. Not everybody sees it as a gift or a psychic. Not everybody sees it as a blessing. In her case, it was an absolute curse.
Sometimes I wouldn't say curse, but sometimes it is hard.
In her case, it was, though, because she was being badgered by a spirit. I'm not going to give anything away in case anybody wants to look for it. I'll find out what it was called.
I got a comment from Leah.
But it's not comfortable.
I feel differently each day and dress accordingly. There's certain things I wear to work because of the dress code, but I add my own touches with jewellery. Maybe you can express your beliefs through that. You're actually about right. I've been having a look to see if I could find some pagan or Norse tie clips, cufflinks, shirts. I don't know. I'd like to find a shirt with a little triquetra or something just embroidered, or I'm going to find somebody that can do that so that I can have my logo hidden somewhere within my shirt.
Okay. I expect you can get it.
Yeah. So let's pay the bills first, though.
Yeah.
I
did have somebody that wanted to collaborate with me with their jewellery.
Well, yeah. If you make pagan jewellery and you've got some stuff I can wear that fits office attire, because I can't wear this. This is just the classic is extreme.
To be fair, they thought your Christmas jumper was extreme.
Yeah. It was a little bit.
It was a little bit. Okay, so.
Oh, Leah's offering to do the embroidery. Right, I'll get the shirts. We'll get it sorted.
It was called Afterlife. I thought it was. It's funny.
Yeah, that's it. Afterlife.
It was, and it was in 2005, and there was only 2 seasons of it. Andrew Lincoln. That's the other person. Leslie Sharp and Andrew Lincoln. It's a really good watch if you can find it. I think we had to use a site called Daily Motion, which was a bit of a epic because we couldn't find it anywhere.
Some of the episodes were mirrored, so they were
back to front.
They were flipped. That was quite
seems
confusing.
To be.
I swear her kitchen was on the left.
Yeah.
Anyway,
really interesting.
Anyway, back to the topic. So yeah, let me know. Have you become more spiritual?
Yeah.
Because of the pandemic.
Or more open.
Or more open to it. Do you believe that? I personally do. I believe that 100 or 1,000 years from now, let's say 1,000.
Sorry.
We won't use the internet anywhere near like we do now. I mean, if anybody's seen what Facebook have got planned, King Christ, that's going to be fun. The whole metaverse, the internet isn't going to be this thing we see on the screen. It's going to be something we physically move through. Now,
it's the Matrix.
If we can have that in reality, what makes our spiritual journeys that we take any less real than that? And what would be cool is if you could program a VR headset with the description of what you take as your spiritual journey in your head. So like Sherlock's Mind Palace, describe that to somebody so they could put a VR headset on and then physically know what it's like to be inside your head. Could you imagine spending some time in my head?
No. It's hard enough being on the outside and hearing it, being in
There's actually a
there.
really good film about that called The Cell with Jennifer Lopez.
It's a rubbish film.
It's a brilliant film. It's got Jennifer Lopez.
That's
But
what
it is
sold
about
it to you.
it is about going into the head of a psycho, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful film. Not just because of her artwork, and it's beautiful.
I don't like it. Anyway.
But yeah, so I've definitely become more open since you've been here. I'm not sure what you did, but wow, I see you here a lot now.
So now it's about learning to control your gift, so that it can be more focused, and more, rather than being completely open to everything. Shut up, Barry.
Brilliant film.
Shut up.
Cinematography, beautiful. Imagery, beautiful.
Jennifer Lopez.
Beautiful.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever. Anyway.
And I really like the male lead in it, whose name I can't remember. He's a really good actor.
Jennifer Lopez.
No, but he plays a psycho really well.
Okay. So.
A bit too well.
Anyway.
So yeah, I believe that the world will become more spiritual. We're not going to be suckered in by crappy adverts. We're not going to be buying stuff for much longer. In the physical side of things, people are going to start buying stuff in the metaverse. So you'll buy something that's just literally digital coded for your avatar or your avatar's home. So we're now becoming the Sims in theory. Oh. So you've got this whole new universe being invented there.
Which means people are moving away from the spiritual side of it.
But again, this is where it's going to create the black and white divide, because you're going to have everybody that goes down that route and all the others that completely go the other way.
I'll be the other way.
Yeah. And that's humans' future. It's kind of one road's Mad Max and the other road's Avatar. I don't know which one's going to win.
Mad Max. It's got Tina Turner in it.
What are boys?
Not Duran Duran.
Oh no, War Boys. Duran Duran. I'm not gay, I promise.
Just a bit. So yeah, I've lost the plot completely because we was talking about mediums and stuff.
Yeah, we have had a few tangents. That's what our shows are about. We are a bit tangenty. Next week, I'd like to talk about names, the meaning of names, and whether you think because your name means such and such that is the kind of person you are.
The power of the name.
Yeah. How did you choose your kids' names? Were they just named after like a celebrity you knew, or the place where they were conceived, or named after family?
That's a really interesting point. Be it working in schools, the names now are so very different.
Oh, it's multicultural now, though.
Yeah, some of it is, but it's like they've thrown Scrabble letters down and gone, that will do for your name, and it's pronounced completely differently.
Maybe they get
Celtic names are like that, though, aren't they? Irish Celtic names are like that. They've got 3,000 letters in them, and what's your name, Leaf?
Yeah. So, my name is for instance, I researched this the other week. In 2021, only 223 babies were named Alistair, spelt the same way as mine. It was the 900th and something top name. And that
was all kids in Scotland.
Yeah. 223 poor freaking lads have been called Alistair and have got to deal with the same crap that I did. They've got to wait now until they're 70 to grow into that name.
You need to have a name that's easy to write when you're little. And to
nowadays, there's nobody in the public eye or who's a celebrity or.
But this is for next time,
called Alistair.
Yeah,
that's what we're going to talk about next week.
Right.
So, yeah, your name. What does it mean? Do you think it describes you? Where did your parents get your name from? How did you name your kids? Is your kid named Aaron and you're just lazy and went, boys' names? Aaron. Excellent. Well, that one.
Aaron. Double A.
Is that what you did? Did you just flick the books open and put your finger and go, right, that's that one? Was it a family name that's been passed on? Did you name them after somebody within your family?
And why did you do that?
And the other topic is surnames and why they were actually what sort of came about the surnames, because they were just for the rich at first. The rich, the talented, and the trade people. So yeah, that's next week's topic. Crystal tips and Alistair. Yep, you see, this is when people start showing their age. I did not know what crystal
I
tips and
said
Alistair
that
is.
to him as
I've
well.
never seen it.
I said that to him
Apart
as
from when
well.
people showed
But
me
that's
saying
spelled
stuff like that.
differently.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It is spelled differently.
There is 7 different ways of spelling my name. There's an English, an Irish, a Scottish, a Welsh, and a couple of French ones.
Alistair.
But my name means leader of men, which I've always thought was a bit weird because I've never really got on with men.
No.
So I've only ever really had few male friends. So I'm not leading men anywhere.
Look, we're drifting. People are
Yeah.
commenting about names now, and we shouldn't be doing this. This is next week.
Easy to learn to write. Yeah, you see, so we're taking the child's IQ into consideration.
Absolutely.
So my parents obviously thought I was going to be smart. More for them. My daughter's named after a car.
Yes.
Smart.
No, not a smart car.
Skoda.
Oh,
What car?
I'm not engaging. This is for next week.
Oh, okay.
You're getting drawn in. You're so easily led.
Please somebody tell me they've named their kid fucking
Toyota.
Ranger.
Nobody's named their kid.
Don't call it Honda because they bump into everything.
Ranger's a good name,
Hashtag
though.
Honda
I quite
bump.
like the name Ranger.
Yeah.
It's quite a good name.
So next week's topic is names.
Okay, so this week we're only supposed to be doing
the increase in spirituality and mediumship and people doing Reiki courses, people being more aware that there's a lot of power actually in putting your fingers into the dirt and hugging a tree and the value that's in that.
I agree. And
taking in a moment just to watch one cloud drift all the way across
tell you
outside.
what I've noticed is I've joined only because somebody keeps sending me videos to watch.
Who's that? That's
Obviously
me.
you.
I know it's me.
And it was driving me a bit mad. So I joined, very reluctantly, TikTok.
I know, I've been too worried about joining Facebook if you've not realised I've not got back on it again.
Yeah, so I recently joined TikTok, but now that I've got 3 of them, 3 social media accounts, on different platforms, it's interesting because I've seen so many different versions of readers and types of reading. I've watched ribbon reading, bone reading, card reading, general mediums reading, and how does somebody present. So some of them I've seen. I've watched a lady doing bone reading, which really has intrigued me of late. So she keeps coming up a lot because there's an algorithm thing. If you watch something all the way through, it will keep kicking her up.
At first, as a man, it just shows you loads of tits, tans and teeth.
Yes, it does.
And once you scroll
what
off
the hell have you sent me that I keep seeing these things now I've joined, and it is literally boobs and bums.
I'm in the truckers, ADHD.
I'm getting a lot of ADHD.
So.
I went through a phase of, because I got engaged through it with a story around narcissists and people in narcissistic relationships, and it shocks me how comfortable people are to share with the world their personal business, and they find it empowering. So that's been kicking up at quite a lot of stuff that I don't really need to see now, narcissistic relationships. But the number of readers that are out there, so the bone reader, you never see what she looks like. You only ever see her hands and the cloth where she throws the bones. And it's like, it doesn't matter what that woman looks like, because that's not what we're watching for. No. We're watching for the bones.
I know, but I have watched some.
And I've watched some woman who clearly had turned her camera on well before she was ready to do her readings and was actually doing her hair and makeup, not talking to anybody, not talking to the camera, not looking at the camera. She was just getting herself ready. And then it was as if she was surprised the camera was on and kind of went, "Oh, hi, you've joined me." And it was like, for 30 minutes, you've been brushing your hair and putting your lippy on. Yeah. So it kind of opened my eyes to a little bit to what do people engage with. So in her case, she put minimal effort in because there are quite a few videos of her just in her pajamas, actually looking very worse for wear.
To do live videos, you have to have a set amount of followers.
She had a lot of followers.
You've got to do a lot of videos and a lot of stuff where it drops into people's For You page. And then once you've got the followers, then you can do the live.
Yeah. No, not just on that platform, on different platforms as well.
Can go live.
Yeah, no. It's just
Facebook, you can go live.
It doesn't clearly matter whether somebody comes on and they've got, like, this is just our house,
our office.
To be fair, we just have, and if you look over my shoulder here, Clara's getting involved. We're not presenting a particular thing other than we've got our logo t-shirts on. It's mainly because I had dinner down the front of my other t-shirt. But
you can buy from my spread shop if you want to.
Is that a better one than the original one we had?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
The prices are much.
So
better.
what people look like and how they're presenting the spiritual offering that they have, people are engaging with it. I was quite surprised how much people are engaging with it. No matter what the presentation is, if somebody's got all the singing, all dancing, and they're dressed like a fortune teller from the 30s circus, they get the same amount of followers as somebody with their fluffy socks and their gym jams on and their messy hair.
My favourite person I watch on there is the guy with the big giant tongue drums. He's up in Alaska or somewhere.
Oh yeah, that's
just a homeless bloke.
Favourite thing at the minute. It's come up on my algorithm now.
So he's cool and weird. It's nice to just take 2 or 3 minutes out and just watch a crazy homeless bloke who's wearing about 23 layers, sat in the snow playing a tongue drum. How lucky is that bloke? That's amazing. So yeah, I think the future, as Marion's put here, the back to nature kind of logic, and stuff isn't nature. People want more natural stuff. And as things become more natural and handmade again, and Etsy at the moment is still in its fad stage. So it's still expensive. It's still, well, it took me 300 hours to make it. Yeah, I can appreciate that it did, but I don't want to pay 300 hours worth of price. That's great, but you've still got to make it a reasonable price. And as they become more and more and more,
what, like
more
my pocket
people,
goddesses that you get for £10?
Yeah, they are a reasonable price. You know, once that starts to become more the norm, because there is loads now of axe people, knife people doing ceremonial swords. This is all the stuff I see as a Norse person. All the jewelry's blown up. The only thing that can do is force competition, which then forces the price to be more competitive.
Would force people.
You're still going to have the divide of the rich and the poor. I get that,
but certainly more people were drawn to having chickens in their garden.
Yeah.
So they've got their own eggs.
Yeah.
Growing their own veg, and things like that. I love it.
I was quite happy in a pandemic. I've got to be honest.
I think I was a lot happier at the beginning. Well, when she came home from hospital.
Yeah.
I think that we thrived then. Yeah,
because the world slowed down. I always feel like...
And nobody could go out.
I always feel in the morning like you used to go to the park with your friends. The roundabout would be spinning and you had to run round with it to get onto it, to match that speed. Or if you got to jump on a moving train. That's how my brain feels when I step out the front door.
No.
The world is moving and I have to move to jump on there and then go with it. Yeah. And then the second I get home and get out of the car, I get off the train again and I can breathe and slow down again. Yeah. So, because for all people who were working at home and they loved it,
yeah,
I think people are now going to want to go back to work because it makes it easier for covering up their wanting their own free time and away from people and away from their families, and then they're being swamped by
to take for their mental health.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I get that. No, I want to. I want to stay at home.
There's a lot of people that do want to stay at home, but there's also a lot of people that want to do a combination of both.
Yeah.
And I think employers are going to struggle with this now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
With all of that in mind, and talking about people's changing attitudes,
can we wrap this up pretty quick? I need a week.
We can. Oh, he's so rude. He's
Sorry.
rambled all that time. The interest in doulaing has seen a boon during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because hospitals were putting restrictions on how many birth partners you can have, which pushed people towards home birth.
Yeah.
Ridiculous number of people, in a good way for sure, free birthing. And it's got the profession out there. And I had the conversation a few times this week, and it's interesting that the first thing people say is, it's American, isn't it? No, it isn't. It's universal. It's worldwide. It's global. In Mexico, it's been a continuous thing. In
Different
South
nationalities
America,
have it in different ways, I think.
But the doula role in a lot of countries has been a constant thing. In more Western cultures, it pushed towards the, oh no, it's not safe, you must go in hospital. But from a spiritual perspective, I think it's a good thing. And more
So
people
do
should
we
engage
think
with it.
that the world is more spiritual now than it was 100 years ago?
I don't think the world is.
Okay.
I think the Western world has had an upsurge in it, but I also think the ways of getting information have spread that happening.
So are people more spiritual now than they were 100 years ago? The answer can only be yes, I think. From a sociological point of view, there's got to be more,
No, I think it's more open now. People are more comfortable saying, I actually believe in.
Start my day with some yak's milk and yoga.
No.
Oh.
I think people are less likely to be ridiculed for it, so are more comfortable saying, actually, this is what I believe in. Think about when Christianity came in and people that had a different belief
were persecuted,
so they hid their belief. It didn't mean they didn't believe in it anymore. Their beliefs were still there, but they hid it. They stopped talking about it.
Okay.
So I think we're more open now that we can talk about these things. Okay. I might be wrong. If you think I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. Not you. You always tell me I'm wrong.
I don't think you're wrong. I just don't agree.
Okay. So you think?
So 100 years from now into the future, the people will be more spiritual. For a start, there's going to be more people. Like
but there'll be more technology.
There's going to be more technology. So there's going to be a bigger social divide between reality, virtual reality, and spirituality. And there's going to be an epic battle. And then Terminator's going to rise and destroy man, and the robots will rebel.
Because we'll all be there with our twigs saying, but we love you. Don't kill us. Our weapon of choice is compassion.
And the world will just be run by Tesla robots, with humans manufacturing all their new parts.
This is your new obsession, isn't it? Because you saw a Tesla kit car.
No.
A Night Rider Tesla.
I did,
you got all excited today because you want one.
I want to.
Thank you, Joanne. Hopefully, Joanne. We'll see you soon.
Yeah. So yeah, I think 100 years from now, people will be more spiritual. I do think there's going to be this divide between the three alities, and I think that's going to shape humans. And I could go even bigger in this if you want another prediction.
No, people clearly want to go to bed.
Oh, they're going now.
You've had enough. You've hit the hour. It's too much. Let it go.
Spiritual people are going to occupy certain parts of the world, and technological people are going to occupy other parts. There'll be no nations.
Okay.
There'll just be zones.
Anywho.
So yeah.
Keep an eye out.
Join me in 1,000 years.
We'll be putting an advert out fairly soon for the potential of regular psychic evenings.
Yes.
At a new location.
Excellent.
Just keep your eye on the website.
Right. Have a good evening, guys. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for putting up with us once again.
And yeah, get back to us next week with your names. and what the meanings are and what sort of you think about it. So,
and actually, Mr. Evans, you should have the answer for this, because I remember many years ago us doing a training session and the trainer saying to us, what is your name and what does your name mean? And I remember sitting there going, I don't know. I don't know anything.
my name's Penny, means I'm skinned.
No, I said something completely different. People, when I say it next week, I bet you remember, Chris. I bet you do.
So yeah, so join us next week. Thank you very much to the people that watched us on Facebook. Thank you very much to those that watched us on YouTube. If you are watching on YouTube and you haven't subscribed, please, a sub to the channel would be bloody marvellous.
It would indeed.
Thanks. And yeah, if you haven't hit the love button on Facebook, do it. Do it.
Like, follow, share, subscribe.
All
of those things.
All that jazz. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank
And we'll
you.
see you next week.